Food and beverage service methods and their service sequences can vary widely. Some of the factors that can influence the style being used are the type of establishment, the time available for the meal, the type of menu, the location of the establishment, the type of customer being targeted, the turnover expected, and of course the price of the meal being served. In the past, the process was purely focused on how the food and beverages were produced and served, with little thought given to the customer's experience. But over time, this has changed, with the customer being the pivotal point around which everything revolves. Now, a deeper understanding is needed about the customer's needs and desired experience for a business in the food service industry to succeed.
客户的体验的话至关重要，有可能呢以口碑相传的方式呢，将你的这个餐厅或好或坏的信息呢传递给其他人，因此呢，我们说，客人的口碑呢非常的关键。
Guests and customers, they go out for meals for more than just the food. They can get tasty food at home. So what they're going in is for a combination of a great experience, a nice environment with good company and great service. And that great service is a part of the customer process, and where we have a service sequence to make sure everything is the same every time, because consistency is really, really fundamental.
The customer process is pretty straightforward. The customer books a time at the establishment if needed and then arrives. Following this, they are likely to order their meal, or if they are at a buffet, for example, they would have to get up and go and look at the choices and serve themselves, or be served by the staff standing behind the buffet. Once they have received their meal, they eat it, pay and leave. In some cases, customers are required to pay before they receive their meal. The customer process appears to be very simple, and it should be, because everything should revolve around the customer. But for the customer process to run smoothly, there's a lot of pressure on the service sequence. Let's take a quick overview to see what it looks like.
The service sequence has a lot of components. Firstly, it's taking a booking from a customer, then preparing for the service. The customer will arrive and they're welcomed. Then you'll need to direct the customer either to a table or maybe to a buffet or possibly a fast food counter.
The orders for the customers' food and beverages are taken. The order is given to the kitchen or the bar area as required, and depending on the time, it shouldn't take more than, say, 20 minutes for food to be served to a table.
Clearing during service is a really important part of the service sequence, especially in cases where the customer is having entrees or desserts. To have a whole lot of empty dishes around you, it can be unpleasant. So it's important that waiters and waitresses are continually checking the tables and clearing those dishes away.
Lastly, the customer obviously pays for their experience, and that's done for the customer, I suppose, but certainly not for the restaurant. The restaurant then needs to set for the next lot of guests, and this includes obviously clearing a dining room, taking the materials from the tables and getting them prepared for the next service.
Not all services were created equal. We now know that good service isn't just about the meal being delivered. But how many different ways are there to serve a customer? In short, there are 5 different customer processes that can be used. Each of the 5 different customer processes also differ widely within themselves. But to get us started, we'll have a quick overview. First on the list is table service, followed by assisted service, self-service, single point service, and lastly, specialised or in situ service.
With table service, the customer enters the restaurant and they're directed to a table. They are seated and an order is taken from a menu. The staff serve their meal at that particular table. Before service, the table's set specifically for dinner, so it has the appropriate crockery and cutlery available. Lastly, during table service, the staff would clear the table.
In service, the waiter is very important. But there are many different styles in which a waiter can operate. Silver service style is the highest standard you'll find. The waiter presents the meal to the customers and, by using a spoon and fork, dishes the food onto the customer's plate from food platters or dishes. Another waiter style within the table service is the family style. Here, the main course is already plated, but can still use silver service at times. The vegetables are placed in separate dishes and the sauces are available separately. Other waiter styles include the pre-plated style of food, the butler style, the Russian style, and the Gayrodon style. Also within table service is the bar encounter. Customers are served while seated on stools at a bar. Moving on from table service, let's look more closely at assisted service.
There are two types of assisted service. One is a carvery, where the meat is sliced in front of the customer and served to the customer. They can be served at the point where it's been carved or while they're being seated. The other type of service is a buffet style. Customer actually serves themselves from a buffet or can be served by a host from a buffet as well.
The self-service style has many different ways in which it can operate. In a cafeteria, the counter style is often used. While in queues, going past service counters, customers choose what they want from the items on display before loading them onto their trays. A free flow style is similar to the self-service, but here the customer can go to random service points and will typically leave by paying at a cash register. An echelon style has counters on angles towards the customer, helping to create a free flow area. Lastly, there is the supermarket style, where there are island service areas within a free-flowing area.
So single point service is, as the name suggests, where service and the whole procedure takes place in one spot. So the most obvious of those would be fast foods and takeaways. This is where the customer will place an order standing in one place. They usually pay at the same place and then they wait there while their meal is being prepared or dished.
那么单点服务呢，就好比汽车餐厅，司机呢开车到汽车餐厅去就餐，那么他不需要呢下车。第一个窗口呢是点菜的窗口，那么第二个窗口呢是付账的窗口，那么第三个窗口呢就是拿走食物的窗口。那么三个窗口呢，one by one 呢一气呵成，司机呢不用下车。
A classic example of single point service is a vending machine. No interaction with the customer, no human contact. You put your money into the slot, you select your option, the product drops out of the bottom, you take what you want and walk away.
Other examples of this single point services are food courts, kiosks and bars. Number 5 on our list of customer processes are the specialised or in situ services. This service specialises in serving customers in areas that were not designed with service as a primary focus. An example of this is the tray service. Typically, this can be seen where a meal is served on a tray to passengers on an airline or train and in hospital beds. The trolley service is similar to this. Food and drinks are moved from A to B on a trolley. This makes it easy to serve transport passengers and is also used to serve workers while they remain at their desks.
上门送餐服务呢是一个非常特别的体验。我们的客人的话不需要离开自己的家，点了自己喜爱的食物，然后呢就会有人送到你的家里呢，你就在家里享受就好了。所以是一个非常特别的一种服务方式。
Other types of services include lounge service. This is where different types of foods and beverages are available for consumption in a hotel lounge. Another example would be room service, where you can order your food and it's delivered to you in the room. Lastly is drive-in. People are served and eat their meals while they remain in their car.
As you can now see, there are a wide variety of food and beverage service methods and service sequences for many different environments and situations. Next, we'll be taking a look at food and beverage personnel.